Hi guys, Martin Curry from Belief Media. I'm going to talk to you about one of those actions you will take when you attend an auction with the purpose of converting those that attend or developing a relationship with the real estate group or auctioneer, or both, and it's usually both. Now, first and foremost, if you haven't ever attended any auctions in the past, I recommend you go out and do so. On a Saturday, just go out and visit one or two, perhaps a couple of different agents, and just get a feel for the process. If you need advice, I guess, on the workings of an auction, the legalities of it, both Domenico and I are licensed auctioneers in New South Wales, so you can talk to us about the process if need be. Now, there's a lot to unwrap when you talk about the relationship that you're going to have with a real estate agent. They can be very productive, and they can be kind of pointless relationships to have if they're not matured and massaged correctly. Those guys that have really good relationships with real estate agents do see really good results. You know, it's almost impossible to attend an auction without walking away with one or two clients. And if you do a full day of these things, even if it's 5 or 6, remembering you're probably attending 7 or 8, but even if you do 5 or 6, you're going to walk away with a ton of work, and you'll be supporting people that maybe weren't properly supported in the first place. And there's always those that went direct to a lender and are donating money to the lenders. So the one thing, remember, there's 7 primary points that we adhere to when we attend any auctions. We call them the 7 pillars. One of those is recording the auction. If you scroll through Facebook and Instagram, you'll see a ton of real estate groups that do this. Not many brokers, but certainly a ton of real estate agents that will do this. Not always very well. They can improve upon their presence most of the time. A lot of them do it in a fantastic way, and they can't be faulted. In fact, a lot of them put production value into it, but most of them don't use good sound quality, and consumers will forgive you for bad video, but they won't forgive you for bad sound. And an auctioneer is always standing 20 feet away from the camera, so it always feels a little, it doesn't present well. You can remedy this. Certainly if you talk to a real estate agent in advance, so it's a warm attendance, and they know you're attending, you can tell them that you want to record it, you can ask for permission, and perhaps it'll make it easier to coordinate. All you're going to do, we introduced some Rode microphones the other day, and I've got one set here. It's the only set that I've got today because the others are out on the road with those brokers that are working the circuit today. So these little Rode headsets, you just pop one of those onto the lapel of the auctioneer, and that's that, right? That'll start recording straight away. It records directly to your telephone, right, which is the easiest camera to use. You don't want to rock up with big cameras on these occasions. You want to be a little invisible to the whole process. Now, if you've got a second guy with you, have them attach the second microphone to their lapel and sit in the audience and maybe get some shots facing backwards and so on. You'll always get a bit of B-roll as well, which is the street, the house, the backyard. If you've got access to the inside of the home, then certainly a little of the interior. And then C-roll as well, which might be some local parks and whilst you're driving around, you can stick your phone on your front dash and just record some of the local area. It really depends. It depends upon how much value you want to add to this video. And the point is, you can certainly use this video for reasons I'll talk about in a moment, but you're going to give this to the real estate agent. For a 5-minute auction, if it's a short 5-minute auction, it'll take 10 minutes to edit. Down the bottom, you're going to stick the address of the auction itself. You're going to put the auctioneer's name up as a title, maybe keep it there for the entire sequence, and just stitch it together. It'll take no longer than 10 minutes. And perhaps create a square format as well as a 16:9, which is the wide format you're looking at now. If you do this consistently, particularly if it's the same auctioneer, they'll get to know you really, really well. Certainly the relationships we build with real estate agents are based on value, business value. But the business that they refer to you is kind of leaning on reciprocity. We're massaging that need for them to support you in the way that you're supporting them. The video itself, whilst it will have none of your branding, it is specifically for these individuals. You might use it yourself as well. Certainly if you're creating a first home buyer course or an investor course or something else, you can create a library of auctions that you have attended. And it doesn't take long to have a ton of videos that showcase your presence in and around Sydney in different locations. They can then be repurposed in different ways. If it was a really good auction, record-breaking auction or something like that, you can then repurpose that into perhaps a podcast. You can repurpose it into a blog post. You can even pull out the audio and stick it on SoundCloud or any of the audio services and just keep a record there. People will gravitate towards that sort of stuff, and this is the kind of information that people are leaning on. They want to see this information. You're creating media that will engage. You're creating real content. So I do recommend people assign a little bit of production value to this stuff because it doesn't take long. A 5-minute auction, it's a very linear front to back format. Oh, by the way, also I personally always create a highlight reel, which is the first 15 seconds, a little bit in the middle, and certainly the end when the buyer purchases a property. If I have the opportunity, I would talk to the buyer directly. Again, stick the microphone on the lapel or have a handheld microphone. You can move back and forth. Just a few questions, maybe talk to those that missed out, and that'll give you a segue into talking about the options that they might have had. Very often we talk to people and they'll say, look, we just reached our borrowing capacity, and half the time their borrowing capacity can be improved by a couple of $100,000 just by sensible structure. So that is what we do at auctions, at some auctions, particularly if it's a cold auction. I have no shame, and I will stand up and announce my presence to all those that are there. During summer, we'll often tow an ice cream van or one of those I forget those gelato services that operate out of the back of a van. There are a couple of guys we use all the time, in fact. During winter and other times we might have a coffee cart or something like that. And a couple of our brokers, by the way, one in particular has invested in a van with a full coffee setup in the back because this program has become so effective. How much does it return? Well, a real estate agent can return anywhere between $10 and $60 million a year. Sometimes nothing, but sort of 80%. The chunk of the bell curve is about 10 to 60 odd million dollars a year. If you've got a really good real estate client, perhaps if they're in the investment game, it can be a little bit more. And as the relationship matures with real estate agents, they will start to see the value in having your presence in their office, so you can place a broker there and so on. So you don't have to do it as we advocate and as I've just described, but I'm leaning on, we've been using this particular technique for 20 years, and the next wave of billion-dollar brokers in this country are generating large amounts of their volume, not exclusively, obviously, but large amounts of their volume on the back of programs like these. The accountant program, so the partner aggregation and training social article system, that's a big system I'll have to talk about another time. That is probably, well, not probably, but it is objectively returning far, far, far more. But real estate agents are an essential part of the mix, and they are of massive value if they respect and appreciate the value that you can deliver to their clients. So this is just as it relates to auctions. With our website and certainly our digital systems, we've got a whole bunch of tools in there to support what I've just described. We are including in the next release of our website and plugin is a client login, and there's an expectation there that all these videos you manufacture of auctions and so on will go into either the training module or just a general information module, because this is the stuff you need to do, guys. You'll have most digital agencies out in the that's what they like to call themselves, out in the field, and they will discourage relationship programs, they will discourage partnerships, they will discourage what they call hitting the pavement and all that sort of stuff. And if you're not operating these programs effectively and efficiently, then by all means it's almost not worth doing, because the results just don't justify the time. But there are ways of leveraging these things and exploding the results. And I mean, we had guys, I created a video yesterday just 3 guys going out, and the potential volume delivered on the back of that, and it was an exceptional day. So this is one of those exceptions rather than the rule. I don't talk about bad results because that's just dumb. But these guys will easily return more than 30 million in interest. How much of that actually translates to a submission is very much an unknown. But certainly, if you operate these programs as we have prescribed and defined in our docs and in Yabra and so on, and you follow the proper procedure, they just work. There's no question about it. They just work. And too often we see people doing the wrong things in the wrong ways, and you know, they're the same brokers that are teaching other brokers how to do this stuff. And they'll often communicate bad ideas and bad methods, and the ideology, the broad overarching ideology of the industry becomes corrupted, and people tend to devalue what historically and what will always provide better results. Now, if you're interested in any of this, I've just scratched the scratch on the scratch. There's so much to talk about, and obviously it's not perhaps as easy as I have just described. I am keen on trying to keep these videos down to a more manageable length. If you are interested in learning more, please give me a call. 0400 777 300 is my number. Our office number is 1300 235 433. That's 1300 Belief. You can visit our website at beliefmedia.com.au. And again, guys, there will come a time perhaps when these programs that we deliver, they're delivered to our website, guys. The clients that have our websites are the only clients that are able to support these programs in the way I've just described to you, because they're the only funnel-centric and client-facing gamified experiences that support everything that we do. If you don't have good digital, then your relationship programs can be seriously compromised. That doesn't mean you can't run one without the other, but certainly relationship programs rely on good relationship related digital, and that's where we spend maybe 80% of our time at the moment. For what it's worth, you know, all the Facebook stuff and everything else is still worth doing, but it will never, ever, ever return the results that you will get from spending one day out on the road. You can throw thousands of dollars into Facebook every week. Most people spend $20 to $40 a day, but you can throw thousands at Facebook in a week and it still won't return the results and the quality of results and the high yield results that you'll get from one day out doing your thing. Today's a Sunday. I'm not out on the road today. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it's unfortunate for the brokers that are out doing the thing, but I've got some things to attend, so I've had to skip today. And I'm getting regular text messages indicating, you know, the success that guys are seeing, and they're all doing fantastic things. And this will be another really, really, really high volume weekend, which we don't always see. If it's raining, if it's, you know, there are 100 factors that impact upon the quality of the results, and this just happens to be a really good weekend. So again, guys, my direct number is 0400 777 300. You can call us anytime on that office number, 1300 Belief. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.